Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Mike. It is the 5th of April. This is my week ahead video. I hope you're all doing well. Happy Easter to everybody who celebrates, and happy Passover to those who celebrate that. So we come into this week, and it's the last week before earnings season kicks off again. The big news here and the wait over the weekend is, Trump's 24 has less than 24 hours for Iran to make a deal, or he's going to pound their infrastructure. Um, now he's saying that he's just going to take their oil instead. A lot of different things going on out there. Bottom line, that's going to be the big mover of the markets over the next 24 to 36 hours. If a deal is struck, the markets are going to pop. If that doesn't happen, then we'll see if he carries through with his threats. We do have a lot going on from an economic perspective this week. We have ISM services on Monday morning. We have durable goods on Tuesday. Thursday, GDP and PCE, and Friday we have CPI. All right, so for people in the room, join us. We'll be opening the room at 8:30, 8:25 on Thursday and Friday for both of those. Earnings, you have Delta. We already know they got it up, so I'm not expecting anything from them. But otherwise, it's the calm before the storm. From dependence, we'll come to sentiment in a second. Here's where pre-market future bets are currently at. So you can get the idea here. Currently, we're out here, trading down 147 on the Dow. All right, so here we are right now on the Nasdaq. You look at sentiment here, highs versus lows, plus 80. Come on, there we go. Plus 86 versus negative 164. So we remain inverted on the New York Stock Exchange, the S&P 500 here, plus 38 versus negative 36. We're pretty much dead neutral. Your put to call, bear it up. That is a good signal for us if it works. Market breadth had a nice multi-day bounce here on the Nasdaq, as well as the New York Stock Exchange that are turned up. Your advanced decline lines also moved up very nicely, and your oscillators plus 55 and plus 127. So we're on the New York Stock Exchange, we're neutral. On the Nasdaq, we're slightly overbought, believe it or not, at plus 127 because of the fast speed of the move, but nothing to worry about yet. Plenty of room to run. So let's talk about where we're at and where we could be going here. I hate when I do that. I thought I had done this earlier. My apologies, guys. A little bit tired today. All right. So on the ES, the 21 day needs to break. So you've had three touches here. Remember, the futures were open for a while on Friday. We had non-farm payroll, was an okay number. It was better than expected. You need to break that 21 days. So if you're looking at the ES, you need to take that out. We'll be watching that and then take out the 200 day. On the NQ, very similar. Crude remains elevated. Crude was open here. You can see it's still trading at the 112 area. Until that comes down and gets below 100 and stays there, the market doesn't believe this is over. That'll be something to watch tonight and tomorrow. Bonds going nowhere. Gold weakened again. Silver, same thing. Bitcoin, people want to see a rally here, remains trapped under 70K and holding 65, very, very, very tight, narrow range. The VIX saying there's not much going on. In fact, the VIX is saying things are okay. We're inside the Bollinger Bands. We closed on the lows here. We're still elevated, but the VIX is not moving up. So it's a good sign. HYG moving with the markets. The transports also up with the markets. The dollar has been the safe haven, had a big move back up here again. So for the SPY this week, we're going to keep it really simple. 21 day, 658.80. Need to break that. Then the 200 day, which is now at your 5% pullback, is 662.95. Believe it or not, we just missed the 10% correction on the S&P 500. If we cannot hold here and the market drops, what you'd like to see us is try to hold the 8 day. That might be a lot to ask at 650.76. However, if you lose Thursday's low, then it really kind of opens the door for a move back down. You have a rejection of the 21 day in a sell pattern. Once you get above here, then we can try to look for the 50 day up to 3%. If the Iran war ends, I would expect us to try to go up and tag the 50%, and then we'll see how the market reacts to everything else that's bothering us. For what it's worth, I've been spending some time this weekend reading and talking to people about the, you know, the, this whole nasty little debt situation we have going on here with the private credit or private equity. My take on it is this: is it a problem? Yes, it's a problem. However, it's being talked about. It's not like it's coming out of nowhere like the financial crisis. We know that funds have exposure to it. We know the funds are heavily exposed to software more so than they're letting on, a lot of these hedge funds. And we don't know how much the banks are exposed to these hedge funds. And that's going to be the questions. But the fact that it's being so talked about right now and everybody sees it leads me to believe that the better funds will clean it up and be okay. And you'll have a few bad actors who will end up going down. But overall, this will not be a huge disaster. My take. We shall see. All right. So, we'll see how we handle that. So when we look around the rest of the market, I mean, everything's going to be based off of what happens in Iran this week. The banks here at the 21 day, they don't report this week. They start reporting the week after. XLF above 50, look for a move to 51.28, and the 21 day. Been talking about Citigroup has holding in better, looks great. Goldman Sachs almost to the 50-day, ready running it. JP Morgan has a little bit weaker. You can get the idea there. Same thing with Bank of America. Uh, I know a lot of you guys like SoFi. This just does not look good. It's down over 50% from the highs a couple of months ago. It's just there's some problems there. There's something they don't like. As long as we're there, let's talk the payment space, another area that's been beaten up. Visa, MasterCard, American Express. These are not places they currently want to be in for whatever reason. We'll do crypto as well. Hood not looking all that great. Maybe a double bottom here, kind of trying. Coin also not looking good. You're going to need Bitcoin to really start to move, I think, for these to wake up. They're just not high on my list, but we'll see. Sometimes you say that and then things happen. Energy is coming off the highs and is holding the 21 day. If oil continues to push, I would not be surprised if they move. Chevron just off the all-time highs. LNG, natural gas just off of it. Exxon Mobil, Devon, right? These have all been very strong. Oxy has been the leader of late, very strong. I would keep an eye on this one. I think this one has more room to run. The XBI and biotech has been holding in. It moved back up here nicely. Names like Lilly, not so much, but at BMY, trying J&J, right? These are all holding in good, just not a lot of power behind them. Moderna has been holding in that move off the lows really well so far. And that brings us over to the semis. And talk about the semis here. They're trying to hold. Look like we're going to break down this week. They came back up. They need to break that 50-day at 399.08. The old leaders, Micron is looking, still struggling to find its way. However, SanDisk came roaring back just off the all-time high. Same thing with Western Digital, STX, they came back quickly. Taiwan Semi, kind of sitting here. That one needs to break the 50-day. Intel has been looking really good the last couple of days. You got that gap at 51.50. We'll keep that in our list. Nvidia, it's just doing its Nvidia thing. It broke down and came running back up and found a way to get back into this range. And there's your 200-day at 179.82, and see if we can take above that. AMD has been acting better. Boy, AMD has that big gap ahead of here that starts at 219.65. So I'd keep that and Intel on my radar this week. Marvel is trading highs. It's 20 bucks from all-time highs, looking very good. Avgo remains stuck. IGV, this is where there's a lot of smoke. If there's going to be a problem, we continue to see problems with that cloud/software sector. We got a big problem. That said, for the 52 weeks, it's holding this triple bottom around the 76 area. Palantir, needs to break that 21 day. Then we could see if we could try to get up into the area of the 200 day. Oracle continues to say all is not well here. Same thing with right, Snowflake, right? Salesforce, none of these are trading particularly well. Adobe, ServiceNow, you guys get the idea. All of these look weak and moving with the index. We talk about names like Boeing, new orders coming in, nice little pop last week. If we can get above last week's high there at $200.13, we could look for a push up towards the 200-day. CAT is held in well through all this. It's not far off the all-time highs. Costco's holding well just off the highs there. Walmart as well, still looking very strong, about 10 bucks off that all-time high and acting well. So, these still look good. We talk about big cap tech. Start off at Microsoft. Microsoft broke down, came back up, still looks very weak here. Cannot say I like Microsoft. This feels a little bit like a dead cat bounce so far. The 21 day now needs to be cleared. Amazon tried to, they tried to break it last week. They didn't. It bounced back up. Needs to clear that 50-day. It's been trying to break this downtrend the last couple sessions, but hasn't been able to get a close above it. 50 days, a real big area up at 214. Meta had a nice bounce here. Now we'll see if it can break the 21 day up there at the 600 area. Apple has been holding in better. It's been sideways. The 200-day area remains support. It's trying to break out here above this 256 area, take it out above this 257, and then we look for a move up to 260 and the 50-day. Google here also trying to wake up, has been strong, didn't even hit the 200-day, looked like it was going to, and it's bounced. We'll see if it can get back to that 50-day at 310. All of these showing some relative strength out there. So you look around, names like Food Stops, McDonald's, not much going on here. Starbucks, nothing going on here. Kava was looking good and it actually still has a very constructive chart, didn't completely fill that gap. Lastly, I wanted to spend a minute talking about Tesla. You know, this name, again, I keep saying this, I believe it is mostly dead money for the rest of this year. All right. Right now, we're waiting for, they're waiting for the robotaxi, Cyber Taxi to really pick up steam and for their Optimus robot to really go into production and see how that goes. Right now, this red line, the 21-day all year, has basically been a problem for it, right? You can see it comes up into and it continues to fail around that area, either directly at or it gets briefly above it and shot back down. So for me here, you're watching it, it broke through here, it took out these recent lows, right? We came down here and we came down, we bounced into this area around this 358 area. Actually, we came all the way down to 350. And you're kind of into this support zone all the way down to the 325 area, depending on what it wants to do. That said, the 21-day needs to be cleared. That's where we failed again last week. We failed the week before, and the week before, and the week before, right? You get the idea. So, if we can't go up, the easiest path of least resistance for Tesla may still be down. Their delivery numbers were a miss last week, and people were expecting it to be a good delivery number, and it wasn't. Again, to me, they're no longer about the EVs. The EVs just need to stay in focus, and the market's going to switch its focus shortly to the SpaceX IPO. With that now announced and seeking a $2 trillion valuation, something to keep in mind. Some of these names might run up into it, but that's going to draw a lot of money out of the markets. So for people you guys like trading like RB, Rocket Lab, and stuff, these names may push up as we go into the IPO, but as we get right there, you're going to pull money out of these to dump it into SpaceX. So keep that in mind, plus a lot of other big names. With that said, link in the description if you'd like to join us in our chat room. We'd love to have you. We get active every day. We look for momentum names to trade. We talk about what we want to earn long term, and we manage our positions. Catch you live starting at 9 tomorrow morning, guys. I hope you all had a great Easter and a great weekend.